Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast. I am Dutch. I am in or around Denver, and this here's my podcast. So, saddle up, kiddies. We have an action-packed show for you. That wait a minute. Let's start that over. Welcome back to the Dutch and Denver podcast. I am Dutch. I am in or around Denver, and this is my podcast. All right. We have an action-packed show for you all tonight. Maybe not. Who knows? A couple things I've been wanting to get off my chest that I've been holding off on, just waiting to see how it plays out. Well, it's played out. And it's not great. Actually, it's horrible. So, let me start off by saying a couple things. If you think baseball is slow or boring, you're a goddamn fucking idiot. Okay? If you think baseball is slow or boring, it's not for you. You don't understand the game. You're a dumbass. Go watch football. Baseball is supposed to be slower and methodical. Okay? It's like golf. You know, in golf, you only get one try per hole to drive the ball. You only get one try per hole, per fairway shot, things like that. You don't get to do it over. Okay? Every shot in golf counts. Every pitch play in baseball counts. It's calculated, it's methodical, it's beautiful. If you think it's slow or boring, you're a fucking idiot and you are the problem. And I'll be honest, I hate you. I view you as a stupid person, and I hate you more as much as a Democrat. Okay? That's what I'm going to preface this. And I know I came hard at you. But what we're going to start with is the rule changes in MLB. Which, just to be clear, is arguably the dumbest fucking thing that has ever happened in the history of sports. Not only baseball, I mean the history of sports. And I have put off talking about this, because I've talked about other things, and B, I wanted to see what would happen in spring ball. You know, preseason, Cactus League, Citrus League, spring training. I wanted to see what would happen with these new rules. Before I shit all over them. I've seen what's going to happen. I am ready to take a big steaming pile of shit all over these rules. I'm also ready to, if the rules don't change prior to the MLB season, I will not be watching baseball this year. MLB baseball. Okay? And people are like, but don't you love baseball? Sorry, I got to do the thing with Dave once. Don't you love baseball? I used to love baseball. This is not baseball. It's just like the NFL. Uh, I can stick to my guns. I took 3 years away from the NFL, and I mean 3 years. Like, didn't watch any NFL when they were doing their Black Lives Matter, America's racist bullshit. Okay, I stopped. So did a bunch kneel for the flag, all that crap. I stopped. Whole bunch of other people did, and the NFL. If you haven't noticed, well, of course you haven't noticed because you're an idiot and you'll watch it no matter what. But if you haven't noticed, a lot of that Black Lives Matter kneeling for the national anthem shit has gone. Um, Now they did do the Black National Anthem, which isn't a real thing. They had a black person sing a hymn during the Super Bowl and they called the Black National Anthem, which is equally stupid. If you're a black person and you think that's your national anthem, you're part of the problem. You're a fucking moron and you're why no one respects you. Okay? That's not a cultural thing. That's just you're an idiot. I'm fired up. This baseball thing is pissing me the fuck off and it's going to pour over into other things. So yeah, I took a hiatus from the NFL and then they finally cleaned their act up and was like, we shouldn't offend a bunch of white people who pay for all this crap. Let's just try and sneak it in every once in a while. And they did. They snuck it into the Super Bowl. Turned out it was probably one of the lowest rated Super Bowls ever, and people fucking hated it. But, they'll try again next year. So let's talk about the actual rules that baseball's changing. And there's 3 of them I want to talk about. I think there's more. I don't really care because these 3 are going to ruin the game. Number 1, they've made the bases bigger. Okay? They've gone. I have the picture here. I think they've gone 3 inches in every direction. Except on first and third, because every direction would make no goddamn sense. But then again, none of that shit makes any goddamn sense, so why fucking bother? You know what I mean? Okay, now let's see here. Yeah, so I take it back. They have made the first and third 3 inches bigger in the 2 directions that matter. Like from home to first, first to second, and then from second to third, third to home. Not the foul, not any bigger. And then they have increased the size of second base by 1.5 inches all the way around. Okay? They've gone from a 15-inch base to an 18-inch base, but it's noticeable on third and first because it extends 3 inches instead of 1.5 inches in each direction. Now, MLB is claiming that the players have advocated for this forever. Why the players advocate for this, I don't know. Why they think that this is going to encourage stealing more. 3 inches, yes, I'll give you that in baseball. Okay. Why I think more runners will be safe. So you're going to increase the offense in the game, which I'm sorry to explain this to you, but takes more fucking time. Okay? I just explain to me what you want these rules to do, because we're going to get to all of them. But do you want the game to be faster or more entertaining? Because you can't have both. Or, I'm sorry, faster or more entertaining to goddamn fucking idiots. Because you don't get both. If you want it to be faster, you do not want more runs scored. That takes longer. Some of the highest scoring games take the longest amount of time. And it's got nothing to do with pitchers or any of that shit. It's just that it takes time to score a bunch of runs. and it takes time in between all that scoring. So yes, some of the longest games score the most runs. So if you want a lot of action and scoring, you're going to have longer games and higher run totals. I don't want any of that. This is what I want. I want the game to take as long as it should. And don't fuck with baseball, Rob Manfred, you piece of shit. Okay, so the bases are bigger. Again, the runners have less distance to run. It's no longer 90 feet. Like, you're fundamentally changing the rules of the game because Rob Manfred is the devil. That one I'm not as. That's probably the least of what pisses me off. The second one is you can't do the shift anymore. And if you don't know what the shift is, again, baseball's not for you, but it's when you realign the infield and maybe a guy's a pull hitter. And what a pull hitter means is he hits to his dominant side more than not. So if he's a right-handed batter, he pulls it to third base. Like, most of his hits go third base. So what the defensive team does is they move their entire infield, minus first base, to the left side of the diamond to stop him defensively. And if it's the opposite, a left-handed batter who pulls everything, means he hits everything to right field, and they move their entire defense to the right side of the field. And when I say left and right, I mean between second and third would be left, between second and first would be right. And MLB has outlawed that now. You all have to be on the grass, and you have to have two infielders to the left of second and two infielders to the right. I have a huge problem with this. A huge fucking problem with this. I don't care where you play. If you want to put all 9 guys, we can't put 9, but let's put all 7 because the pitcher and catcher still have to be in their position. If you want to put the other 7, all of them behind first base in a line, I don't give a shit. Go for it. Do that. It's up to the hitter, because there's an old saying, and I didn't have time to Google this, but the key to hitting is hit it where they ain't. Okay? And if you're a professional fucking baseball player, and your only thing is you pull the ball to third every time, and they load that side of the field and get you out, you should probably learn how to hit to the opposite field. Okay? I don't want Major League Baseball dictating player positions. Okay? Again, if you want to stack all your players at third base, fucking fine. If you're a right-handed batter, stop pulling the goddamn ball, hit it to the opposite field, and maybe you'll get on base a little bit more. Again, you're a professional. That'd be like telling pitchers, hey man, I know they keep hitting your inside pitch, so we're not going to allow them to swing at the ball that's on the inside of half of the plate. We're going to make that rule. And don't laugh, because it might happen. So yeah, they're dictating where the defensive players can set up. But also there's no dictation of where the outfield can set up because there's no direct line and they can't do that. But yeah, you got to be on the grass and you got to have but you got to have 2 guys between third and second and 2 guys between second and first all on the dirt before the pitch. Fucking stupid. I say you guys line up. You get 9 players on the field. You get 9, okay? You get 9 defensive players. You can put them wherever the fuck you want. If you want to put them all in the outfield, roll with it. Because then you just bunt every play. If you want to put them all in the infield, fine. Hit singles. But that comes up to the skill of the batter. Hit it where they ain't. Like, Jesus, if you can't hit to the opposite field, I don't fucking care. You're out every play then. What? That you're not a professional baseball player. You're right, I'm not. I do have a unique insight to this, though, that we're not going to get into. Actually, it's not even that unique. I do have a unique one, but we can get into just basics. It's fucking baseball. When I played in high school, college, middle school, all that stuff, the teams that won could hit it to the opposite field. That's fine. That's what you do. Fuck it. Jesus Christ. So that's 1 and 2, base size and defining position of players. The NFL does it. The players have been. Fuck the NFL. That's dumber than MLB. They've just been dumber than that for longer, so we accept it. Basketball doesn't give a shit what position you are. You play anywhere. And if you decide to put, a small forward in the paint and get his ass whipped, that's your fault. Adjust. So if you decide to stack the side of the field and the guy hits taco, and you lose, fuck you. But if he can't hit opposite field, fuck him. Jesus Christ, coddling these little bitches. Not even talking about how we got rid of, no collisions to the plate, can't slide into second, blah, 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 all this other dipshit stuff. Again, I have to reiterate this. If you think baseball is boring and slow, you're a moron, and the sport isn't for you. So these are for people like D-Mac, who apparently that guy's become fucking irrelevant, which I'm proud of. But again, if you think baseball is slow and boring, you don't know baseball, and the game isn't for you, which is not a bad thing. That's okay. Soccer's not for me. I don't understand how you can play for an hour and a half and end in a fucking tie. I don't understand how in the middle of the season you play an exposition or an exhibition match where it's called a friendly. I don't understand that. Soccer's not for me. I don't want to change the rules of soccer because I don't agree with them. The people who want to change rules of baseball because you think it's slow and boring, you're an idiot and you don't know sports. And I will challenge any of you, even if you're an ex-baseball player and you're like, yeah, we need to speed the game up. You don't get the sport. You do not understand baseball. Just like Bryce Harper does not understand baseball. The guy's just good at it. He's one of the lucky few that hates a sport that he's good at. He's a piece of shit, and I fucking hope he dies. I mean, not like dies, but I hope he never plays baseball again. I hate him. He's bad for the sport. Again, this is a 150-year-old sport that is a mental game that is at times slow and methodical. At times it's fast as shit. What do you mean it's not that fast, Dutch? Well, let me explain something. Do you know how fast a double play happens? No, what's... Of course, you don't even know what double play is. Because you bitch about the speed of the game, but you don't know what double play is. That's incredibly fast. Do you understand how fast those pitchers throw that baseball? That's incredibly fucking fast. Unbelievably fast. I mean, like, less than a third of a second from when it leaves his hand to when it hits that catcher's glove. That's fucking fast. That is faster than any other sport besides highlight. You didn't know that, did you? No, because you're a fucking moron and you're trying to change one of the most beautiful games on the planet. Now, talk about fast. Let's talk about what's really pissing me off. This year, Rob Manfred, in his infinite wisdom of sucking guys off in the back parking lot for money, decided that he was going to add a pitch clock, saying that pitchers have to receive and throw the ball in a certain amount of time between each pitch. And there's different rules from runners on first, or from runners on and no runners on. But let's be clear, it's a pitch clock, okay? And it's a enforceable pitch clock for the reason that if you don't adhere to the pitch clock, you are penalized. I really right now I'm so just like ready to fucking blow. I don't even know where to start. And if these numbers are inaccurate, fuck you, they're close enough. So I'm pretty sure you have 15 seconds if no one's on to catch the ball and throw it back. No, as a pitcher, catch the ball from the catcher and pitch another pitch. You got 15 seconds and nobody's on. If someone's on, you got 20. If there's a runner on base, you have 20. I know I have to explain that to you fucking idiots who think this is a good idea. All seems fine, right? What if you're not ready in 15 seconds? What if you don't? Well, then you automatically throw, and I'm using air quotes, a ball. Not literally a ball, because you idiots don't know baseball. The count now goes to 1-0. Okay? So you get the batter gets a free ball. People are like, well, that's not fair. What if the batter just takes too long? Don't worry, MLB has come up with something for that too. The batter needs to be in the box and acknowledge the pitcher with 8 seconds left, or it's a strike. How do you acknowledge the pitcher? You gotta look at him. You could be in the box and if your head's down and you're doing all your stuff, but you don't look at that pitcher in 8 seconds, it's a strike. Granted, guys, no pitches have been thrown, and the count is already 1-1. Okay, there's a ball and a strike. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No. No pitches have been thrown. Now, part of the pitch thing is the pitcher can only step off the rubber, and I can't explain all of this to you, but I will try quickly. The rubber is that white strip that the pitcher pushes off of to get leverage to throw a baseball hard towards the plate. And when you don't move towards home, you have to step off the rubber or it's a balk. So if you're not ready or something like that, you have to step off the rubber. Now, if you throw to first, second, or third on a pickoff play, you have to step off the rubber before you do that. I know you don't see it because they do it quickly and you're stupid and you don't understand the intricacies of the game. But yes, before a pitcher throws to first base, he steps off the rubber and whips it to first. Now, the new rule is that you can only do that twice. You can only step off the rubber twice per at bat. So, first time, you and the catcher aren't on the same page. The signs aren't the same. You step off the rubber. Everything calms down. We get new signs. That's once. Now, the runner on first sneaks a little bit. You step off the rubber. You throw to first. That's twice. You cannot step off the rubber again, or it's a balk, and all runners advance. Well, Dutch, what's to just stop the guy on first from stealing? Fucking nothing. Good goddamn question. Now, they do say that you can't step off the rubber a third time, but it has to result in an out. So if it doesn't result in an out, it's a balk and the guy advances anyway. All in the name of speeding up a game for dumb fucks who don't understand it. So we've covered that. Imagine that. They're like, well, you're never going to have any more pitchers thrown over to first base 3 times. That's not the problem, man. We'll get to the problems in a minute. Or we'll get to what took so long in a minute. Here's the big thing with the pitch clock. If you don't adhere to the pitch clock, the pitcher is either charged a ball or the batter is charged a strike. Or vice versa. Batter's awarded a ball, pitcher's awarded a strike. So, let me paint a picture for you. Bottom of the ninth. And again, if you guys don't know what this is, I can't fucking help you. You're the reason that these rules are in place, and I fucking hate you. You don't understand. I truly, utterly hate you. And yes, even all the big sports talk guys who think I will fight all of you because you're pussies, namely D-Mac. Fuck you, you little bitch. Go back to Boston. But let me paint you a picture. It's the bottom of the ninth. The bases are loaded. The game is tied. The count is 3-2. The pitcher steps on the rubber. The clock starts counting down from 20. At 8 seconds, the batter steps into the box. The count's 3-2, by the way. At 8 seconds, the batter steps into the box, head down. Referee, umpire, calls time, blows his hands, calls the batter out on strikes, game over. Well, why, Dutch? Because the batter did not acknowledge the pitcher with enough time on the clock. Seriously, are you fucking kidding me? Is this what you want? And if this is what you want for baseball, I fucking hate you and I hope you rot in hell with the other pieces of shit in this world. Let me give you another scenario. By the way, all these scenarios I'm presenting have already happened. So yeah, that game, bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, tie game, 3-2 count, ended because that batter wasn't ready. He got called out on strikes on a ball that was never even thrown. Game over, other team won. Let me paint you another picture. First inning. This is a real thing that happened. I don't know if it's first inning, doesn't matter. Beginning of the inning, batter comes, pitcher comes. Neither one of them are ready on time. Before a pitch is even thrown, the count is 1-1. They both get penalized, a ball and a strike. Okay? Now let me paint the same picture for you. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, bases loaded, tie game. Neither one of them are ready. And you award the ball and the strike. Then what? You can't have 3 strikes and 4 balls simultaneously. What is your plan then, Mr. Rob Manfred? You unbelievable sack of donkey shit. What is your plan then, all of you sports talk assholes who are like, baseball's too slow because I'm a fucking idiot? You're probably impotent too. If you think baseball's slow and boring, I guarantee you're an impotent piece of shit and your woman is unsatisfied with you. Okay? That is my call to it. So then what? Honest question. This isn't rhetorical. Then what? You have no answer for that because the rules you made are fucking stupid. Then, honestly, then what? Because it actually happened that both pitcher and batter weren't ready and the umpire awarded a ball and strike. So the count started 1-1. How do you award that when the count is 3-2? You cannot have a 3-4 count. That's not a thing. You either walk or you strike out. Which is it? And you can't strike out on a non-pitch, you fucking moron. You can't even walk on a non-pitch. You have an implied walk, which I hate just as much as this. But then what, you fucking tools? All you guys who want to ruin this game and speed it up for your own prerogative, for God knows what reason. Again, I don't understand how you just can't watch a 3-hour baseball game. Fall asleep for a couple innings. Relax. You can sleep and listen. I do it all the time. I golf. I doze off, close my eyes. I can still hear. What is your hurry of speeding the game up? You want to speed the game up? No more reviews. Football games take way too long. No, they don't, Dutch. They're fine. No, they do take too long. Because again, I talked about this with Higgins and everybody else. The actual action that happens on a football game is like 6 fucking minutes. The rest of it is standing around like assholes. You want to speed that up? Of course not. And that's what I don't understand. You don't think a football game's too long. Every play lasts 6 fucking seconds. I don't care if it's a 100-yard bomb or a loss of 4. 6 fucking seconds. It's not a fast game. It's a slow, methodical game. Holy crap. They give you 4 plays to go 30 feet. 4 plays to go 30 feet. And sometimes you can't even do that. That's slow, methodical, and boring. What about the football games that the Broncos play that they lose 9-8 or 8-7? Those aren't boring and methodical. Of course they are, but nobody gives a shit. Because everybody who really likes the NFL more than any other sport is a fucking Neanderthal. Again, if you think football is the best sport, you're an idiot. Like, you're a dumb person, and I can't reason with you. And that's the problem, is that dumb people have invaded baseball, and they're like, they're too slow for my retarded ass. No, it's not. You're right. It is too slow for your retarded ass. So get the fuck out of here. The rest of us who appreciate the methodical thought that goes into a baseball game, like Yogi Berra. Yogi Berra once said, and they're called yogiisms, and I know you won't understand them because you're not real baseball fans and you just want to ruin things that I love. But he once said, baseball is, I think, 80-90% mental. The other half is physical. And you're like, Dutch, that doesn't make sense. Yes, it doesn't, because it's a yogiism. You say it ain't over till it's over. Well, no shit. But it's extremely intellectual baseball. Okay? I don't want it sped up. I want it left alone. So with all these rule changes, I want you to answer me these questions, and you can't, because A, you're a moron and you don't understand baseball, and I fucking hate you. Phil, welcome to the podcast, by the way. Or B, you're still a fucking moron and you don't understand this. Like, you're ruining this, and I'm not going to watch MLB this year unless between spring training and regular season they change these rules. I'm not doing it. I am not having a game decided based upon a pitcher not being ready to throw a baseball. Now, I will admit, some of them do take too long. Suck it up, Buttercup. And some batters take too long with their readjusting their gloves and kicking and spitting and grabbing it, all that. Fine. It means you get to spend more time with your family at the ballpark and have another beer. And if you're against that, you're anti-American and you can fuck yourself. So you get to have an extra beer and another hot dog, and you get to have another 45 minutes with your kid at the ballpark. Actually, I just thought of that. That's what it really comes down to. If you want baseball games to be shorter, that means you want to spend less time with your kids at the ballpark because you are an actual piece of shit. Could you imagine how great it would be on like a Sunday afternoon to just spend 4 hours at the ballpark with your kid? Now, I don't mean like a 2 or 3 year old who doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but 9 or 10 who's just like doe-eyed and just immersed in the game and the crowd and everything, and just is hanging on to every pitch just like you are. That's magical. That's baseball. Speed it up because you're an idiot and you have ADHD and you're a dumb fuck and you don't get the game is not baseball. That's you being a piece of shit, and I'll fight you over it. Got it. Oh, I'm so mad about this. So yeah, I will not watch the MLB this year unless they change the rules prior to the regular season. I've already canceled the at bat for the Cardinal games. I'm not fucking doing it. I will not go to games. I will not participate in this shit. This is just willful. I'm a dumb fuck and want to ruin things other people love because I'm an ignorant piece of shit. And you really are an ignorant piece of shit if you think a baseball game takes too long. Now, I'll be on board with you. The games that are like 16, 15, yeah, those take too long. That's because you have all these dumb fucking rules and these goddamn reviews and shit in place. The umps aren't wrong that often. So fuck yourself. God damn it. All right. Let's talk about something else. Friend of mine, we're not going to use names or relations or any of this. Friend of mine's a teacher and brought this to my attention that they said a student plagiarized their homework. And my response was, okay, expel that piece of shit and get rid of him. Later on, I found out the details. And the details were, and this is, I mean, I do shit on teachers a lot, but I think I do it rightfully so because only teachers can defend themselves. Because again, you're contracted for 180 days, you get paid for the whole year, blah, blah, blah. You have more breaks than anybody. It's not that hard. And I'll show you why it's not that hard. Because upon learning the details of this is an AP English class, and the assignment was read a book and then write a number of questions about the book showing that you read the book in depth. Okay? You don't even have to answer the questions. So let's start with what a lazy piece of shit assignment that is. That literally takes 100% of the teacher's work out of it. Because usually what it is the teacher teaches, you study, they test, you answer, they grade. That's the process of teaching. Here's what this process is. You read, you question. No, that's it. There's not even a right answer to this. You literally just had to read a book and make up some questions about it. That is the laziest piece of shit teaching I've ever heard of in my life. Other than grading brainstorming, which is lazy in itself, or grading your attempt at a math problem. Because I've heard of teachers who, they give you a problem like 2 + 2 equals X, and you have to solve for X and show your work. And if your work is decent, but your answer is wrong, you get partial credit. Nonsense. So after finding out what happened, and what happened was this student found apparently this is AP English. This student found an English test for this book and just copied the questions. Again, not the answers, just the questions, and change character names or something. Well, when that bit of info was introduced, I then changed my tune. That's not plagiarism. You cannot, and again, this is not like a debatable thing. You cannot plagiarize questions. Okay? Questions are not answers. And to assign an assignment that is only questions is the epitome of being a lazy scumbag. Because again, there's no right or wrong answer to that. And be, what Dutch? What about literature? There's right and wrong answers, or there's not, or there is, or there's not. There are right and wrong answers in literature. Okay? If you want to take Mother Goose, and if you ask the question, who is Mother Goose, and you answer Father Duck, that is clearly a wrong answer. Now, if you ask to interpret who Mother Goose is, you could probably say there are some wrong answers about that. Because you can't interpret Mother Goose as Hitler. Okay? But if you tell me to read Mother Goose and write questions about Mother Goose with no answers, just write questions that you would ask someone about Mother Goose, that's not an assignment. That's you being a lazy fuck. And that's why I have little to no respect for the teaching profession. And I know there are some teachers that work hard, but as a whole, that is what the teaching profession does. That is not an assignment. To rate a book and write some questions that you would ask someone on a test. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Here's the assignment, as I understand. Read a book and write some questions that would show you read the book in depth. That's it. That's not an assignment. That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life. And if a student goes online and Googles Catcher in the Rye AP test and copies those questions and fills in different characters and stuff, that's not plagiarism. It might be cheating or half-assing or beating the system, but that isn't plagiarism. You can't plagiarize a question. Or we would have to redo our entire teaching system, because I promise you, the teachers that give you your tests, if you're still in school, did not write those questions themselves. Some of them might have, but chances are they didn't. They got those questions from a previous test and they're giving it to you. Okay? So in theory, that would be plagiarism. But it's not, because you can't plagiarize a question. And again, this isn't a debate. This is just, you cannot plagiarize a question. You cannot plagiarize the question, how do I fix a flat tire? That is just a question. For instance, if you, and I use this today, if you ask me to write down 3 trivia questions, I can copy them verbatim from Jeopardy, and that's not plagiarism. Now, if you ask me to summarize the Iliad and I copy and paste from the internet, that is plagiarism. Do you understand the difference? I hope you do. Because I mean, that's the huge difference. Like, literally every question you've ever been asked has been plagiarized. Because I mean, there are, I won't say there are no more original questions, but there's no more original questions about published works, obviously. I mean, would it be plagiarizing math questions if you ask the same one, 2 plus 2 equals X, solve for X? If you ask that over and over? No. Now, we can get into an ethical debate about what the student did, which ethically they were wrong. Ethically, I guess we would call it cheating. I think my friend and I settled on it was cheating. But it wasn't plagiarism. Plagiarism is publishing work and passing it off as your own. And questions aren't really work. Like Joe Biden plagiarized stuff. That's why he didn't run for president back in the 80s, or did and then got caught. Oh, yeah, you guys didn't know that, did you? Your current president is a plagiarist. He is a verified, plagiarist. I mean, the guy's a piece of shit. If you steal someone else's intellectual property and pass it off as your own, you're a piece of shit. And that is plagiarism. The answers are plagiarism. But you can't plagiarize questions. That's like a philosophical thing that you can't plagiarize a question. If you're part of a trivia group and you're using trivia questions, that's not plagiarism. That's just questions can't be plagiarized. Um Answers can be, though. And one word answers cannot be, because those are just answers. But if someone wants your opinion on something and you copy and paste someone else's answer without citations, that is plagiarism. Questions cannot be, though. It's very interesting how that works if you really think about it. Because if we're going to say that questions, regurgitating questions verbatim is plagiarism, well, then technically everything is plagiarism, and it can't be, because we still have a collective knowledge that the question can be the same and the answers can be different, but the questions cannot be different and the answers be the same. Does that make sense? And again, this was not shitting on anyone but that specific teacher, because it's a bullshit question and you're just lazy for that. But it's a very interesting philosophical discussion on if you can plagiarize a question. And the answer is you can't. It's kind of, I mean, it's not exactly like this, but there's another philosophical question that, if you have any religious belief in your life, you believe God is all powerful. And one of the more famous questions is, if God is so powerful, could he ever make an object so heavy even he couldn't move it? So now you have to look at this from well, there's three aspects to this, but there's two logical ones. A, if God is all powerful, could he make an object so heavy even he couldn't move it? Either way, he's not all powerful. And if he could make it but couldn't move it, he's not all powerful. And if he couldn't make it, therefore he couldn't move it. But if he couldn't make it, he's not all powerful. And a lot of the religious people, their answers, it's not in his nature, so he would never do it. I mean, it's not in God's nature to. It's because even God has a nature. Like, would an honest man lie? Well, no, because it's not in his nature. Is it in God's nature to defeat himself inherently? No. But it's an interesting philosophical question. And the question, plagiarizing questions, isn't philosophical. It's just like settled fact, settled science. Bang, we got it all in the COVID thing. But it's settled science that you can't plagiarize a question. But it is interesting to extrapolate that to other philosophies, such as, can you copyright a question? Can you copyright a riddle? Because in theory, a riddle is a question, but it's a loaded question. Can you copyright that riddle? No. In my opinion, no, you can't. You can't copyright questions. You can only take intellectual property or copyright answers. Because there could be, and these are, let's say, like arts questions, like literature, language, things like that. Sometimes there's not a direct right answer. I mean, there's obviously wrong answers, but there's not always right answers. Like, How did this piece make you feel? Bullshit question, but there's not necessarily a wrong answer to that. But if you say this piece made me feel um, dark, isolated, and alone, 75-21, and then later down the road someone else gets that same question and literally repeats that verbatim, the 75-21 is irrelevant and makes no sense, but it's just the proof that it was a plagiarized answer. Yeah. Also, can you plagiarize a sentence? How much of, let's say for instance we're writing an essay, how much of that essay needs to be verbatim to another essay for it to be plagiarism? Because I mean, I'm sure, asking some questions, we can all come to the same verbatim answer. Maybe it's time we change our questions and say, what did you think of this piece? But more importantly, how did you get to that conclusion? That could be something. Um, but I mean, what do you do? It's a very interesting concept, and I think it's worth discussing more. But I think it's worth discussing. I think it's, and I mean the person who, no, we won't even say that because that'll just get us some more trouble. Um, but yeah, this is all very interesting, and I think very worth discussing further. All right, let's move on. I said my piece about that. If we want to discuss this more, I think uh, AK would be the one to discuss ethics and um, I guess philosophy with. I don't know. Higgins might be able to keep up. Last thing, Ukraine, guys. We've got to stop with this shit. You don't support Ukraine in anything they do. This is one asshole country versus another. I don't know why it's taking this long, but finally they have leaked the Zelensky, or is that his name? Zelensky? That seems like it's from a movie. Whatever. They have leaked this guy's previous life, and we've known his previous life. He was like an actor entertainer prior to being the president of Ukraine. The guy's got numerous videos of him prancing around like a fucking idiot, naked through a superstore, dressed like a god knows fucking what, and yeah. Stop giving them money. You don't support them. You don't know anything about what's going on, because if you did, you wouldn't give them a dime. You're just an idiot once again, and I'm tired of paying for this shit. I mean, you guys were all over Bush about some proxy war shit, and Biden's doing the same goddamn thing, and you still have the Ukraine flag in your little social media profile. The gig is up, man. Okay? If you still support this, you're an idiot. This has nothing to do with you. They're not part of NATO. Neither is Russia. Who gives a shit? Zelensky is a piece of shit who has jailed, executed political prisoners, just like Putin has. Putin just runs a bigger country. We should not be giving them any money. We should not be doing anything for these people. I'm sorry that you're getting fucked by Russia, but it's not my goddamn problem. I mean, I'll leave you this. Why don't you do a little check on who's donated the most money to Ukraine? and then just follow the money. Who has helped them the most in their little proxy war? I mean, not the UK, not France, none of NATO, just us. And follow the money, and you'll figure out where it's all going. But enough of this. Jesus Christ, the guy's prancing around like a fucking reindeer naked through a goddamn Home Depot. He's not a president, he's a shill. All right, it's been fun. I gotta go to bed. Couple announcements. It appears we're going to get back into Destiny. Tomorrow, there's a big update, brand new DLC. So we will continue with Hogwarts for a day or two. But I mean, let's face it, we're literally just trying to clear a map at this point, and it's getting a little bit boring. We're going to jump back into Destiny with some very old they're not old like grandpa old, but like D1 players that I used to play with who have reached out and want to grind away to a day one raid, which is March 10th. Okay? So, maybe tomorrow, most likely Thursday, we will get back on the Destiny grind to prepare for the March 10th raid. Because apparently we got 48 hours to beat this thing so we can get some ridiculous jacket. I'm not entirely sure I will be able to stream because I will be in LA. I will record and upload, but I don't know exactly how this is going to work because I also do not. Oh, full disclosure, if these guys are not going to Sherpa me up to where I need to be, I'm not doing it. So yeah, then we will default to Witcher or Elden Ring and go from there. Podcast will continue, but yeah, we're going to wrap up Hogwarts pretty fucking quick unless I can get some new shit to do other than like Merlin trials and all that, because that's just getting boring. I mean, it's same thing, different location. But yeah, we'll jump back into Destiny and we'll roll from there. All right. So that's where gaming wise, podcast will be the same, and we're gonna move onward and upward from there. I appreciate everyone listening tonight. Follow them socials, hit that like button, tell your friends, love it or hate it, do it all the same. Until next time, bye.